What if I told you that right now, despite the market going crazy, you can still pick up two of the best sets from Sword and Shield at MSRP? Stock's drying up, things are being bought out, and prices are rising of both sealed products and singles from a lot of the Sword and Shield sets. And I know you've been in that situation that we all have, where you're looking at products or looking at a certain set and you're thinking, do I buy that ETB or do I grab another booster box? Nah, it will still be there in a week's time. It will still be there in a month's time. It'll be okay. Next thing you know, you look, it's sold out on the Pokemon Center website and you wished you'd bought it when you were thinking about doing so. Now, what I've got in front of me is what I call or dub the 2-era rule. So what is the 2-era rule? As you can see in front of me, I have a little bit of a timeline. It doesn't include every single set, of course, because who has the room? I don't have 6 monitors to create a full timeline. But as you can see, it gives more or less an idea of what I'm talking about. So right now, the most modern 2 eras are Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield. And as you can see, after that, I've drawn a line, and after that, I call No Man's Land. No Man's Land for me is that period of time between the 2 most modern sets and what would be called vintage. So base set, Jungle, Fossil, EX, Ruby and Sapphire, etc, etc. That's vintage, we all know that. But you've got these sets that are in that No Man's Land, which is Sun and Moon, X and Y, Black and White, etc, etc. As I said, I've not included every set. I don't have the space for that, but you get the idea. So Sword and Shield right now is in that period of time where it's one of the 2 most modern sets, right? Scarlet and Violet being the most modern, it's the most recent set, or era, sorry, to be released, and Sword and Shield prior. But we're in the very last phase of Scarlet and Violet, and in 2026, it's more than likely that we'll see the 10th generation of Pokemon being released. So to continue on that point, what I think will happen is we'll see, well, I know what will happen is Sword and Shield will move into that No Man's Land as Scarlet and Violet moves into that 2nd most modern era slot, and we'll get the 10th generation obviously being the most modern. So what happens when Sword and Shield moves over into that No Man's Land era? Quite simply put, we'll start to see huge rises of a lot of the sets within Sword and Shield, regardless of how good the set is, on both sealed products and single cards. How do I know that? Let's look at some examples of some other sets from other eras in that No Man's Land slot. So to give a good example of the effects of an era moving into that No Man's Land slot, let's look at some of the worst sets that have released in the Pokemon TCG history, at least according to the community, right? So here in front of me, I have Steam Siege, which I think is fairly unanimous, is widely considered as one of the worst sets that has been released, of course coming from the X and Y era. And if we look at the price of the booster box here, over $400 US. Yes, you are reading that correctly. You can get one of the worst sets that has existed in the Pokemon TCG history for the same price as what you can roughly get Fusion Strike, which is one of the best sets from Sword and Shield. Just quickly guys, if you are enjoying the video, please don't hesitate to hit that like button, and also feel free to subscribe if you like the sound of a new Pokemon TCG video every other day. Your support is always massively appreciated and it really does help me out. To look at another example very quickly, we had another set which was widely regarded as one of the worst, which is Emerging Powers from the Black and White era. And as you can see here, I have a booster pack as there is no data to go by on booster boxes. But as you can see, it's roughly $50 per booster pack, which if we bring up the calculator here, you will see for the price of a booster box would roughly be around $2,000 US. Now to kind of jump back to the relevance of my 2-era rule timeline that I showed you at the beginning, let's have a look at some sets from the Sun and Moon era, which has just moved from the 2 most modern eras into that No Man's Land slot. So to look at some examples from the Sun and Moon era, let's look right at the bottom to begin with in Crimson Invasion, widely considered as one of the worst sets from the Sun and Moon era, and as you can see, sitting at around $270 US. Moving up slightly around that sort of mid-level Sun and Moon era set, you're looking at Lost Thunder, which I like. It has the Suicune, the Lugia, it's got Tyranitar, Shuckle, Sceptile, etc. It's got some decent cards in there, but it's not as good as your Team Up or your Cosmic Eclipse, etc, etc. Therefore, it's probably mid-ish tier. And as you can see, $740 US for the booster box. And as we move up to that upper echelon, you've got Cosmic Eclipse, which is a fan favorite from Sun and Moon, which is over 1.1k for a booster box. Now that we've looked at some sets from various levels of quality from the Sun and Moon era, let's look at some comparable sets from Sword and Shield where they are now and where they could be in a year or two's time when Sword and Shield moves into that no man's land slot. So to have a look at some examples from the Sword and Shield era from varying levels of quality and compare them to their counterparts, so to speak, from Sun and Moon. Starting off at the bottom, let's look at Darkness Ablaze. Yes, one of the worst sets from Sword and Shield, we know that. Sitting at around $196 right now for the booster box, and very comparable to, as I said before, one of the worst from Sun and Moon Crimson Invasion. As you can see, $70 odd more for the Sun and Moon Crimson Invasion booster box than Darkness Ablaze. Going back to the point originally at the beginning of the video, let Sword and Shield move into that no man's land slot, give it time, and the prices will rise. Same with Chilling Reign, as we can see here, $330 right now for a mid-level tier, right? It's not your Evo Skies, it's not your Fusion Strike, it's not your Brilliant Stars, it's not that top tier from the era, but it's good, it's mid-ish level, it's decent, right? And it's very comparable to Lost Thunder from Sun and Moon, right? We looked at that and we've seen that was $740. Give Chilling Reign 2 or 3 years and it could quite easily hit the same heights as its counterpart, so to speak, from Sun and Moon in Lost Thunder. Now, what if I told you 2 of the best sets from Sword and Shield are still available on the Pokemon Center MSRP, despite us being in an absolute bull run of a market right now? Prices are going crazy. But yes, there are still 2 sets that you can pick up products from at MSRP on the Pokemon Center website. Now, why this set is still available on the Pokemon Center website totally baffles me. It beats me completely. But yes, Brilliant Stars is still available to you at MSRP. As we can see in front of us, not a great deal left. Only the Elite Trainer Box, the Pokemon Center exclusive version, and the 3-pack blister with the Leafeon promo card. Now, if you don't know a lot about Brilliant Stars, where have you been? It's a fantastic set. Look at what it contains. Charizard V, one of the coolest Charizard arts of all time right there. You've also got other cool cards like the 3 legendary birds in their Galarian form. You've got a gold Arceus V-Star card. And that's not even talking about the trainer gallery. Right now, if you want to get your hands on an Umbreon, you've seen the VMAX from Evolving Skies go crazy. You've seen the Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions go crazy, and you haven't been able to get your hands on it. Brilliant Stars has got you covered. You've got Umbreon V and Umbreon VMAX here in the trainer gallery. Perhaps Sylveon's more your flavour. There's a couple Sylveon cards here as well. Perhaps you prefer the OG trio from Gen 1. Flareon, Vaporeon, Jolteon, all here. Perhaps you just want an Eevee. Eevee's here too. This set is absolutely fantastic, and on the Pokemon Center website right now, you can still get products at MSRP, but I don't think they'll be there for very long. Now, Brilliant Stars is quite slept on, but not as much as this beauty right here being Astral Radiance. Why we're in 2025 and this still isn't getting the love that I think it deserves, again, totally baffles me. But yes, Astral Radiance on the Pokemon Center website is still available. You can still acquire the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box from Astral Radiance at MSRP in 2025. And if you're not sure what it contains, let's have a look. For starters, look at this Beedrill card right here. It's fantastic, and I don't think you can really appreciate it until you have it in front of you. It's a beautiful card. Same with this Machamp V here. What a fantastic looking card. And that's just the beginning, right? As we go down, if gold cards are your thing, you've got Dialga, you've got Palkia, you've got Samurott here as well. And as we go down into the trainer gallery, look how beautiful some of these cards are. I'm a huge fan of this Kingdra card right here. And also I love this Hoot card here as well. And that's not even getting onto the Starmie V, one of the stars of the set. No pun intended, that was off the cuff there. I'm quite proud of that. But yes, Starmie V also being one of the mainline cards from the set, and the list goes on and on. Astral Radiance is a fantastic set and is still available at MSRP on the Pokemon Center website. So point being, guys, it doesn't matter what your purpose is when trying to pick up products, whether you're trying to master set something at a reasonable price from Sword and Shield, Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance still there at MSRP. Maybe you just want to collect the trainer gallery because of how beautiful they are. Those sets have got you covered. Pokemon Center's got you covered. They're still available at MSRP. Or if you're looking to invest, they're fantastic pickups right now. As we've seen, going back to that first point, that timeline that I made, the prices will soon start to rise as Sword and Shield moves into that no man's land slot. It will become the 3rd oldest era as we have Gen 10 coming out next year. and the prices will start to rise quite rapidly, but for both sealed products and the cards within the sets. But anyway guys, that concludes today's video. I've really enjoyed making it and taking a look and comparing sets from various eras, and I do hope that it has been somewhat informative and beneficial for you guys as well. So if that was the case and you have enjoyed the video, please feel free to smash that like button. Your support is hugely appreciated and it really does help me out. And of course, as always, if you are new here and you want new videos every other day around the Pokemon TCG, please don't hesitate to smash that subscribe button above me. Also guys, if you haven't caught up on my 10 and under series, you can watch a couple of them videos right here. But apart from that, thank you very much for watching guys. I've been PokeCharlotte and I'll catch you in the next one.